You might know him for his flashy tattoos, outrageous antics on the court, and social media beef with other players. But beyond the flashy exterior lies a disturbing trend of poor decision-making and reckless behavior that has earned him the title of the NBA's dumbest aspiring thug. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at this player's tumultuous journey in the league, from his on-court outbursts to his off-court scandals. We'll also explore the broader issue of toxic masculinity and the negative impact it can have on sports culture. So buckle up and get ready for a wild ride as we delve into the world of NBA's most notorious aspiring thug. Basketball is the most difficult of the 5 major American sports to get into the professional ranks. A professional club will only sign 1 in every 12 players. To put it into perspective, just 3 dots out of 35,000 will be signed by a professional basketball team if each dot in the ball represents a possible pro signee. In addition, the NBA pays its players the most, with an average annual compensation of almost $10 million per player, putting them in the top 0.1% of American income. Morant, for example, has won the lottery of life by landing such a remarkable position as a professional basketball player. He put forth a lot of effort, and now his efforts are being recognized at the highest level. He decides to adopt the persona of a gangster rapper, attacking people, flaunting firearms on Instagram, and attempting to convince the world that he truly is about that life rather than creating his legacy and establishing possible generational riches for himself and his family. Ja, the lone NBA player from the inner city, was raised in Dalzell, a sleepy little rural town in South Carolina. A few miles outside of Sumter, the 46th most hazardous city in South Carolina, lies Dalzell. He attended Crestwood High School, whose students' academic achievements are about on par with those of the whole state. It's very reasonable to assume that Ja attended an ordinary school and grew up in a relatively typical American suburb with a little above average crime rate. We have no basis to think that he is a gang member or even remotely connected to a gang. He has no prior convictions, no violent past, and simply a few little courtroom disputes, which is very typical. Ja has 2 devoted parents who have always encouraged him in his aspirations to play basketball and are extremely proud of him. He's a true lover, according to his mother. Ja's father, T, trained him personally and assisted him in becoming the celebrity he is today throughout all of his spare time. The Memphis Grizzlies selected him as the 2nd overall choice in the 2019 draft. In his debut season, he averaged over 18 points per game and earned Rookie of the Year. Since then, his statistics have only gone better and better. As part of his contract deal with the Memphis Grizzlies, he has been on fire with this season, averaging 27 points and shooting 46%. Under this deal, he would be paid 25% of the salary cap annually, or an estimated $40 million, placing him approximately in the top 10 earners in the NBA. His performance in the first 5 seasons is comparable to that of Allen Iverson, Derrick Rose, and Russell Westbrook. Strangely, AI and Ja have even more traits than each other, since they indulge in a way of life associated with rappers, more especially gangster rappers. Allen Iverson enjoyed going out to clubs, drinking, and gambling, all of which eventually contributed to his career decline. As of late, Morant enjoys showcasing his toughness to others. Morant was reportedly engaged in the assault of a juvenile during a basketball game in July at his Tennessee house. According to a TMZ story from January 2023, Ja allegedly approached the boy, rested his chin on his shoulder, and asked a bystander, "Should I do it to him?" After the two got into a disagreement, then used a closed hand to strike him, sending him to the ground. After that, Ja kept beating the youngster as he was lying on the ground, and another guy intervened and started beating the boy as well. The adolescent had a noticeable knot on his head, according to the police. Josh claims that although he did attack the youngster, it was in self-defense in response to the boy throwing a basketball at him. Officers were being led from the property when the adolescent allegedly threatened to fire his home up, verbally, according to Morant. Separate accounts claim that Ja beat the youngster 12 to 13 times and even walked inside the boy's home, took a revolver, and placed it in his belt while tormenting the child. The fact that the child was 17 was being repeatedly brought up by NBA news sites, but to give Ja the benefit of the doubt, a 17-year-old today very certainly could light up your home. The 4 people that killed Pop Smoke were 19, 18, 17, and an innocent youngster. However, it's possible that wasn't the case. The kid did file charges, and the boy's mother issued a claim for $20 million from Morant. But the charges were withdrawn for a lack of proof, and it was beginning to seem more and more like a bogus accusation made to get rich fast of an NBA player. Yet 4 days before this incident, a security officer at a finish line at the Memphis Mall filed another police complaint against Ja. Morant's mother called her son after disagreeing with a staff member, which led to the confrontation. Josh arrived with 9 guys, and there was a verbal altercation, and one of Morant's men shoved the security man in the head. After that, Morant remarked, "Let me find out what time he gets off," which intimidated the security officer and caused him to report what was happening. As Shannon Sharpe pressured the Grizzlies during their game against the Lakers, Ja had the chance to prove to the world just how gangsta he was. Dillon Brooks retorted when Shannon shouted at him and said he couldn't protect LeBron. In retaliation, Shannon pleaded with them to get in his face as he stood on the sidelines. No one wanted to go up and near Shannon. Even Ja's father T got up and gave him a little barking fit. The Grizzlies decided to attempt and push him as soon as fans started to shoo Shannon away after hearing Ja shout from across the floor. "They don't want the smoke or the troubles," Shannon said, "but I wanted everything they had." 1 week after the incident, Ja got into a fight with Chris Duarte of the Indiana Pacers. Ja kept saying, "Don't touch me," as Chris shoved him 3 times, but she had some plans for vengeance after the game. Members of the Pacers' traveling party were forcefully challenged by friends of Grizzly players Ja Morant outside the team bus at the FedEx Forum Arena loading area, and subsequently, a red laser was pointed at them by someone in a slow-moving car that Morant was riding in. Was someone attempting to carry out the first drive-by after an NBA game? We don't know who directed the laser or whether it was connected to a weapon. It's not as lawful as Gilbert Arenas, the Wizards player who threatened to kill one of his teammates during a card game. And let's not forget that Ja said on Twitter last year at 2 in the morning that it's free to experience how hollows feel about how hollow tip bullets. Also, only last week, Ja went to Instagram Live when he was in a club and brandished a pistol at the camera, as if that wasn't enough proof. Ja deactivated all of his social media accounts in response to this conduct, which resulted in a ban on 2 games. 99% of people condemn this conduct, but other individuals, such as Gilbert Arenas and Paul Pierce, have backed Ja by essentially stating they can relate to his decision to carry a weapon. Ja is enjoying an almost unachievable life, so why does he want to go about and play gangsta when everything is going so well for him? That's not difficult. And that's not your life, my brother. In that world, people would do everything to be in your life. Sports and music are so closely related because we want to be like them and they want to be like us. Rappers like basketball players' status, wealth, and security, whereas basketball players adore rappers' way of life. Ja, a 23-year-old South Carolina native who plays in the NBA, just relocated to Memphis, a hazardous city that is home to well-known rappers. Even though his criminal lifestyle is hectic and he probably has a target on his back round the clock, he is rapping along to his lines and making it seem thrilling and joyful. He is experiencing their way of life, the way that his favorite rappers romanticize it. And he's not too concerned about his safety, since he has no adversaries. Nevertheless, his father is also taking pleasure in his son's achievement, and if he keeps going in this direction, he would come to be shunned by the media and finally, joining any club will be too hazardous. Similar to previous players who had attempted these stunts in the past, his career will suffer, and his new friends who are introducing him to his lifestyle won't support him if he is no longer a top basketball player. We hope you found our analysis informative and thought-provoking. Now we want to hear from you. Who do you think is the NBA's dumbest aspiring thug? Are there any other players you think to deserve a spot on our list? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more sports content and analysis. We'll be back soon with more exciting videos, so stay tuned. And thanks again for watching.